after half an hour of fun trying to sort that out, we're up and running. So just let me know you can hear me okay and the slides up. Just put a few yeses in, and then we'll crack on and see if we can make this well worthwhile. Excellent. Okay, that's just cool. So yeah, we've got quite a few people on board, so that makes it worthwhile. Looks like everybody can hear it. Okay, let's get started. It's something that I pulled out of my little box of trainings going back a while, but I think it's really, really important stuff, especially as a lot of people are getting into developing the social media side of things, because there's one thing that I think is really, really important about this business. We are a people business, and we do business with people, so it's so important just to be aware of that. And start developing sort of people skills, and I think there's a huge amount of people skills we've got within our team, but it's so important to really keep that in mind, all aspects of the business. So the title says, how do you motivate your team to success? I'm not sure you can, because the thing about motivating people, motivating a team, is when you stop motivating, then what happens? You know, if people are waiting to be motivated before they do something, invariably after some fantastic motivation, it tends to tail off. I actually prefer the word inspire, and maybe to inspire people in your team or inspire individuals in your team. And the word inspire definition is to get someone to do something they did not believe they could do, to get someone to do something they did not believe they could do. And so, you know, when I joined Early Doors, to get to a point in this business, which we've got to over the years, right at the very beginning, I didn't think I could do half the stuff that we've done over the years. And the main one is to actually be in this business longer than I've been in a job, which to me was quite remarkable. And you know, it's somebody like Chris having little conversations over the phone, Chris Mason Paul, having chats over a coffee or in the bar. You know, there are things that he said that I probably now realise actually quietly inspired me over time. How do you inspire your team to success? I think there's things that leave clues. So they say success leaves clues, particularly from the leaders in the business. And the leaders in the business are, you know, I would suggest to people that have got a successful team, that have been around for a long time, have got longevity, and you know, share information, and you know, they're real leaders, and they tend to have, I would say, 4 key things that they focused on over the years. And there's lots of leaders. We've got our own Chris, Jill, Bob Webb, and so on. And there's 4 things. And there's vision, desire, self-education, and belief. And you'll see where I'm going with this in a bit. So let's look at vision. Vision is the power of vision, is its ability to give people hope and direction. So if you can help people create a vision, then it gives people that element of hope and something to follow and something to aim for. So vision is so important. And in fact, Peter and Jackie White, that's why they called their group the Vision Group, because it's so powerful having a vision. Desire is fueled by the feeling of, I really want to do this. So unless you have desire, that burning fire in the belly, that burning, I want to, you know, do everything I can to make and achieve what's in my vision. Unless you have it, then you're missing a trick. So finding ways of actually fueling your desire is so important. Self-education is probably one of the biggest things that will actually make a difference to your business. And self-education is wanting to further your knowledge in order to achieve your desires and goals. So without this is like a jigsaw. You get those 4 components all together, you've got something that's very strong, will actually really set you up for success. So if you miss out on self-education, and that's something within this group we're pretty good at, we've got lots of resources that help you to do that. Self-education is one of the real big keys. If you haven't got belief in yourself, belief in your team, belief in the concept of network marketing, belief in the company, and there's massive belief now in the direction that we're going, if you haven't got belief, again, that's going to hold you back. Now, when you join, you don't tend to have massive belief in anything. You're giving it a go, see what it's like, getting some catalogues out, starting to get into the social media side of things. You're not sure whether you can do it. You're not sure because you're all new to the system, what your team's up to, who your team is, probably learning a little bit about the concept. Haven't been in Clean Easy long enough to have strong belief, but over time, if you focus on building up your belief, that's all part of that success jigsaw. Now, one of the things that I think is apparent, and I've been doing this business for long enough to have seen it over and over again, is a thing involving conditioning. And conditioning is it's an interesting thing. I just try and explain what we've got on this slide here. That's actually a flea, that little creature there, horrible little things. And fleas can jump absolutely massively. They can jump feet into the air. And a guy, I'm not sure whether it was Pavlov or somebody, did an experiment. They put some fleas into a jar, put a lid on the jar, and after a while they took the lid off, and there's a little image on the right there. The fleas, even though the lid had been removed, stopped. They've been conditioned to only jump so high. And it's one of the things within jobs and in life, you're told you can't do something or you're held back, and continually told you can't do something, you just accept it and you stop trying. And conditioning is something that I think affects absolutely everybody. It certainly did with me in the civil service. Time and time again, I was told, no, we're not going to put you forward for a promotion. I gave up trying, and I think a lot of people can relate to that. So, image is people. So you've got people jumping up and down like the fleas. Put a glass ceiling, and this is where a phrase "glass ceiling" comes in. Take the glass ceiling off, and people give up. And one of the really interesting things that highlights this is Roger Bannister in 1954. He broke the 4-minute mile. Loads of people said it couldn't be done, so they just gave up trying. But this guy actually broke through that glass ceiling, and now the 4-minute mile is so many people can do a 4-minute mile. We're now nudging towards a 3-minute mile. The glass ceiling was removed, and the interesting thing was within months of 1954, when Roger Bannister did that 4-minute mile, a load of other people did it. The previous time scale of 50 years or so prior to that, nobody did it because they didn't believe they could do it. So one of the things with this business is trying to help people move from being conditioned in their previous lives, of told they can't progress, can't achieve, can't strive, is to actually help them remove that glass ceiling. So one of the ways to do this is listen more and talk less with your team and your individuals in your team. The keys is to ask questions. By asking questions, you can begin to sow seeds without pause. So one of the things that is really important, and it's the fun bit, if you like, is get to know your downline and create coffee moments, I call them. And that could be over the phone, chatting to your downline, getting to know them, finding out what interests them, and just create these little moments. It could be face-to-face. It could be, if they're miles away through Skype, it's just getting to know them. Now, you can do this to a degree using Facebook, but I really, really believe if you can move back from just only doing things through Facebook and actually get to actual moments when you're actually speaking to them over the phone or through Skype or even actually meeting up, you can create moments that are really, really important. Through questions, what you can do in creating those moments is get into conversation and start sowing seeds. And sowing these seeds begins to open up doors of what possibilities there are and begin to develop that vision. So you could say to people on a by-the-by basis, hey, have you ever thought about moving to a bigger house? Now, bear in mind, you're beginning to get to know, your team a little bit in terms of what makes them tick. So these are all, you're going to find relevant things that are relevant to that person. But you ever thought about moving to a bigger house, or retiring early, or taking a cruise, or exploring Australia? Maybe you Have you thought about financing the kids through university, working fewer hours for the same income, buying a second home, buying a first home even? Sowing seeds begins to open up that door of possibility, and that's where it all ends. And you can only do that by having proper conversations with people. It follows on that if somebody says, well, I really, really would love to get my own first house, just get a mortgage and actually get my first house, and you find out how strongly they want to do it, you can then say, well, what if it was possible? Would you like to? The answer nearly always becomes, yes, I would. The question is the key question, and this is where self-education and learning how to strive to aim towards a vision begins to kick in. You be prepared to take time out to learn one or two things that may help you move house, get that dream holiday, get the dream car. And the answer usually is yes. What do I need to do? Now, where this is key, retail sponsor teach is what we do, but self-education and personal development is, if you like, the thing that drives those first three things. So a guy called Alan Pease, and he's got a great book called Questions Are the Answers. Now, if you get someone to say, yes, they really, really are prepared to actually do something to achieve that vision, those goals, the seeds that you've just sown, you've now got their permission to get to work because they said they want to, not because you said they had to. And there's a huge difference. If you get it coming from them, then they own what they're looking to drive towards. And that's so important. So it's a great book. If you haven't got it, there's also audios. Write this down. Questions Are the Answers by Alan Pease. So inspire. To get someone to do something they did not believe they could do. It's a why not me? Why can't I qualify for a conference to Mexico? Why can't I get one of the company cars? Why can't I get a mortgage? Sowing those seeds and opening up the possibilities is the beginning of helping someone, move from maybe looking to make an extra 200 or 300 a month to actually changing their life in the next 5 to 10 years. Because you've sown those seeds. But the key is doing it in a way that is not saying they have to do it, but it's to get them to say that they want to do it. And that's so important. So asking, you can sow seeds, help them nurture those seeds. This is where training comes in. You can feed and weed them. So as they're moving forward in the business, you can actually, at each stage, help them add additional things to their toolbox, if you like. And if you see them actually going down the wrong path, it's actually making sure and get them back on track. And then you can start watching your business grow because they're actually doing it for themselves. So in other words, you're not actually motivating them, you're actually getting them to motivate themselves from within and actually begin to inspire themselves from within. So you're actually the trigger, if you like, as opposed to being the main person who's having to constantly motivate somebody to do something on a week-by-week basis. So opening the door with questions, you can help someone build that belief, fuel that desire, develop their vision, and develop a thirst for knowledge. So those are the four keys. And then you can see them engage in activity with a purpose and achieve their goals. So the real key is, I don't think you can motivate people for any length of time. You can do short-term things by coming up with really, firing up them with fantastic words and speeches for maybe a day, a week. But the bottom line is, unless they're motivating and inspiring themselves, it won't continue. So I see this as something that we can all work on, and it's it's a work in progress with everybody. But understanding, if you like, the concept of helping somebody by sowing some seeds, actually look for something, inspire them to actually achieve something that they perhaps didn't think they could do, and then just follow through that. So actually getting to know your downline is so important. Your job's not done just by signing somebody up. Your job's not done just by training them to do some retail or use Facebook or whatever. It's a constant and very important part of the business, if you want to see somebody develop and actually fulfill their potential, you need to help with them on a regular basis and get to know them. I'm certainly not perfect at that, and that's something I'm always looking to try and work on. But be aware of the potential of doing this, because it's so important. So where do you start on inspiring your team to success? Well, it starts with you by asking questions of yourself first. So unless you can inspire yourself, so in other words, you're self-sufficient in terms of motivation and inspiration, you're going to find it very hard to actually inspire somebody else. So you've got to start working on yourself first, and don't necessarily expect your sponsor or upline or Clean Easy or whoever to actually do that job for you. But you can certainly get help from your sponsor and upline if they work with you to sow some of those seeds. Really, really important. And on a final note, so this has not been a long training. I just wanted to get this point across about having a dialogue with your team and getting to know your team properly, so you can help them just go to a place that perhaps they didn't think they could go to. The things that has always stuck with me, and it's Wendy Mason-Paul came up with this. I don't know if it's her quote, but I've always got it tagged around somewhere. And do the things you don't want to do now, so you can do all the things you really want to do in the future. So in other words, put the effort in and the hard work in now, and it will pay off big time later on when you create some time freedom, maybe create the income that you want later on in the future. And the neat thing about Clean Easy is there's so much track record, so much long-term history of that happening. This is where belief comes in. If you actually follow that yourself, then it is done in the past, it can be done in the future. So really, really important. So hopefully you got a little bit out of that. So the big point, in fact, I'm going to try and get across is pick up the phone, get to know your team, find out what makes them tick, and start sowing some seeds so they can actually have a vision, create that belief, get some personal development going, and then see how far they can then take the business, because it comes from within them. Okay, that's me done. Thanks ever so much for being really patient. We had a few issues getting on there, so hopefully it was worthwhile. I think this is being recorded so other people can hear this at a later date. So that's it from me, and I'm going to disappear. So we'll catch up, speak to you all soon, and see you at the next meeting. Bye for now.